Wrestling has long been a male-dominated industry. Oh, let me stop right there. Let me really spell this out for you, CBO. Wrestling has been a male-dominated thing since going back to the Greeks and the Romans.
Not just dreaming it, we're doing it for real. Straight to the top. Working hard every day just to live out that way.
WWE superstar Marty Jannetty might have confessed to murdering someone when he was 13 years old in a bizarre social media post, and now cops are investigating. The former member of the tag team The Rockers, with Shawn Michaels, told a story on Facebook about trying to buy weed from a man who worked in a bowling alley in his hometown when things went awry.
Okay.
I was 13. Should I imitate this?
Are you really going to do that? Okay.
Wait a minute.
First
I was
of all,
13. Working at Victory Lane's bowling alley.
This is your
buying
impression?
weed from that worked there.
This is a bad Marty.
And he
Go
put
on.
his hands on me. He dragged me around the back of the building.
Why are
You already know what he was going to try to do.
This is...
Jannetty continued.
Yeah, I'm afraid he did.
That
Go
was
on.
the very first time
Sorry,
I made a
Marty.
man disappear. They never found him. They should have looked in the Chattanooga River.
See, now you're getting a little better.
Oh, that's better?
You're getting a little better. It's still bad, but go on.
And by the way, before you comment, Jannetty's 60 years old.
Yeah.
And so the alleged incident would have taken place in 1973.
Okay.
Now the Columbus Police Department in Georgia tell us straight up, we're going to look into this. Thoughts, Pharaoh?
He took this post down, didn't he?
I think he did.
Oh, boy. All right. Okay, here we go. Considering that this is coming from Marty,
What?
it's natural
What?
for it's not naturally a lot of people are going, what? What? That's Austin. That's somebody else.
Right.
Considering this is coming from Marty and historically with some of the bizarre things he's posted in the past and his track record, it's logical for a lot of folks to raise an eyebrow and go, what are you doing now, Marty? Okay, fine. And that's fair. I could see people doing that.
Okay.
However, this is probably where people are going to get a little crazy with me, but that's fine. I can't fully ignore it until it's, if they are going to investigate and get to the bottom of it. Here's how I feel about if this did happen. I'm not sure why he would even do this now, all these years later. I have no idea. Motivation, clueless on this one. But if this did happen, I'm with him. He was 13. Somebody tried to he's hinting at, besides either an assault or a rape, someone was trying to hurt a boy. Now, as strange as it is that he's looking for weed at the age of 13, hell, I'm not surprised. I know kids that have probably started younger. It's a f***ed up world out there. But 13 years old, dealing with an adult who's trying to either maim or rape or hurt him, if he did what he had to do, and at 13 he must have been a pretty strong kid. If he did what he had to do, then I'm with him. And if this even turns out to be true somehow, I don't think he's going to get much of a slap. He was a kid defending himself. If this did happen to him, people maybe will not be so surprised the next time they say to themselves, wow, Marty's really messed up. Because this is something that could change your life forever. And if this did happen, no wonder Marty's so f***ed up. So, that's a
really good point.
So if this is true, then I'm with Marty and I back him because as a 13-year-old, nobody should be violated in any form or fashion. And if he had to defend himself to the point of snuffing someone, then that's what he had to do. So that's my fucked up take on the whole thing. Of course, am I sure about any of this? Absolutely not. I'm no different than anybody else. Let's see what the police do with this. Let's see where this goes. I don't know. Fucked up.
Well, you're going to have an answer from Marty Jannetty because he'll be in studio on September 18th with us.
What?
So, if anyone knows the past between Monte and the Pharaoh and Marty Jannetty, it has not been the best.
Right.
We kind of made up the last episode.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm good with Marty. I don't know.
But he'll be back September 18th.
Are you good with Marty? I don't need no more surprises.
I'm fine with Marty.
You
but
better be.
I certainly will be asking the question.
I'm sure you will. And I'm sure he'll answer it, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he'll answer.
You want to try it? A little practice?
What do you mean?
All right, you ready? Marty, what's the deal now? First you wanted to have sex with your daughter, and now you're saying that you were raped and you killed somebody.
I have no idea you're talking about, Monty. I took both those posts down.
There you go. And that will be the interview on September the 18th.
Keep rocking.
Really? I don't think pro wrestling's been this good in a long time, Pharaoh.
I'm not sure. Well, why don't you tell me why you feel so optimistic? What is it about this current...
So, SmackDown last Friday, I thought was well written.
Yeah.
I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You had The Fiend attacking Alexa Bliss.
That was wild.
It's funny coming out of Just Incredible saying, "Hey, you got to push the envelope a little," and we were saying, "Would you do this? Would you do that?" That's pushing the envelope, right? A man attacking a woman.
That was cool.
Knocking her out.
The particulars don't really matter much to me. I just like the fact that it was cool. It was well done. And I want to see Alexa Bliss do this because Alexa Bliss has been running a very stale course for a little while with Nikki. I'm tired of it. We know Alexa Bliss is much more engaging than what she's been doing recently.
Right.
This is awesome. I can't wait for this.
What do you think is in Bliss's future?
Well, she's Sister Abigail. If she turns out to be Sister Abigail, we know in the past that Bray has always referred to Sister Abigail as kind of the boss, that her word means most to him. So this is very interesting. I guess first he's probably got to take her to the swamp and put her in the special soup, and then she's got to come out, and when she comes out, she'll probably be more evil than we ever imagined, and we always loved her evil side.
Well, which
so
way,
this is going to be
which
really
way do you
good.
think this angle is going to go? Is it going to be a Nikki Cross angle? Or is it going towards Braun Strowman? Right, because we all know that Strowman and Bliss had a relationship, right? But where does Nikki Cross fall into this, right? Before, she walked out on Alexa because she was mad because she lost to Bayley, right? So she was upset. So
who knows where this could go?
Is there a possibility Nikki is Sister Abigail?
That would be a bit of a bummer to me.
Me too.
I do think that Nikki will be used to advance the storyline. Where her role falls in, I am not sure. I almost feel like she's going to get the beatdown of her life. But also, it's possible that she could wind up joining with them too. She's kind of off-kiltered herself as a character. She's out there. So I could see her possibly joining them. Who the heck knows? Aleister Black should wind up with Bray Wyatt as one of his disciples, quite honestly. So there's a bunch of things, I think.
Well, I will tell you this. I'm a little sick of Alexa Bliss face. Being a face.
Yeah, it's not. She's
face,
much better as a heel. I don't think she makes for the greatest face.
So Alexa Bliss comes back, black hair, black eye makeup.
I don't know. But
definitely running that road towards Strowman.
They're definitely going towards Strowman. I think he's going to take the belt from Strowman. He's going to win the title again. This Fiend thing has taken a weird turn, man. He gave up the belt inexplicably out of nowhere, right? And then he disappeared, and then we had Bray. And
you got to remember, you had COVID, right? So they had that big thing lined up for Reigns against Goldberg. That made sense for WrestleMania.
Yeah, he was kind of jammed in there. That's true.
It just, things just fell apart. You couldn't prepare for that type of stuff.
Right.
I mean, how great would have Reigns against Goldberg been? It would have been a really good match.
That's an interesting thought. Do you still like The Fiend? Do you think he's got some staying power in his second coming here?
I did not think that gimmick would be sustainable, but it's
not bad.
It is a good gimmick.
It's not bad.
The whole bringing Alexa on board, if it goes that way, which I'm praying it goes that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enthused.
Right.
I'm excited. The storylines are good.
And for those independent marks who are barking at home about how bad The Fiend sucks, go back and watch your Marco Stunt tapes, because if you're going to tell me Marco Stunt is better than The Fiend, then you clearly have better cocaine than I have access to.
How about my girl Mandy Rose getting attacked by Sonya Deville and getting her hair cut, being that into entertaining the fans to allow her hair to get cut?
Forget the hair getting cut. What about the straight right that started the whole thing? That was a real punch.
Oh yeah.
What the hell was that?
Oh yeah.
You know, for the face of an absolute top-tier model, Mandy Rose is a tough babe. Ow! That was, and we all know Sonya's. I wouldn't want to fight Sonya.
No, me neither.
No, thank you. You know what I mean? But that right hand was like, oh my God, that had to hurt. What a vicious beating. I haven't seen a good beating like that in quite some time. And yeah, we're barbarians. That's what we want to see sometimes.
It was.
Is there anything wrong, by the way, as a wrestling fan, wanting to see something like that?
It's a real beating.
That was amazing.
That was a great beating.
I really liked that a lot. And by the way, how about some points for Sonya with what she was screaming at her? Oh, man. That was really, really, really good. So yeah, there was some good highlights.
Again, now wrestling fans, very well-written storylines. If we had fans...
Yeah, I like both of those.
If we had fans during this time...
Yeah,
I think people might feel a little different. I think they'd be much more into it.
I think a 20,000-seat arena would have definitely given you a pretty big pop when The Fiend popped in on Alexa. I think you would have had a pretty good live reaction.
Yeah.
You know, I think behind the scenes is the fans are watching vignettes, and sometimes it's hard to hear them live when you're at the arena and they're showing the vignette on the Titantron. But I think the fans, you would have had a lot of oohs and ahs when Sonya was delivering those blows, man. Those would have gone over very well on television. So with a live crowd. So yeah, that was
so
good.
far Pharaoh-like, right?
Yeah, what you're pointing out, absolutely. Absolutely.
Monday Night Raw Underground made its debut. Your friend CM Punk wrote.
My friend.
I absolutely
he doesn't
love
even know me.
I want to see Nia Jax in there. They should get more women in there. Let us see more bodies getting broken. The idea that Shane McMahon and all these people would be in a performance center for the whole 3 hours and they cut into what they're doing in various segments is pretty cool. 3 hours of no-holds-barred fights and strippers. That's all I want to see.
You know, it's funny. On that last sentence, this whole time it seems like he's totally behind it. On that last sentence, I almost wonder if he's being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Was he being sarcastic?
Well, let me ask you about the dancers. What did you think of the dancers? Some people think they felt it was out of place. Personally, I thought it gave that dirty underground look.
Oh, God. It's what did I think of the dances? You should be asking me what I thought of the overall whole vibe of it, because that's where I have a better answer, a deeper answer. As I'm watching this, first of all, I think that it's very ironic that they used the word underground. The way it was filmed, the dark filming, and the way it felt is absolutely from Lucha Underground. I watched that show for whatever it was, 3 or 4 television seasons or whatever it was. Right. It had that grisly, darkened arena feel. You felt like you were watching something secret. It's like a Fight Club thing going on with this Raw Underground thing. Is this exactly what I usually look for? No. I did not do cartwheels for this. I think it's interesting. I give them credit for trying something different. Do I think it's going to work? It might. It might. But could you take full stock in some of those fights? Like when Ziggler's beating up the guy and stuff like that? I don't know, man.
I actually thought it was wonderful.
Really? You really liked it, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm not sure where it's going to go, but it was weird. I had the weirdest thought. And it's funny that you say that CM Punk spoke on this.
Okay.
This is a strange idea. Stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
How do you repair Punk's image, tough guy image, after he lost those 2 MMA fights? If he's going to return to a pro wrestling suspension of belief, pro wrestling atmosphere. How awesome would it be? They'll never do this for him, but, I can't see them doing this for Punk. But what if Punk shows up in the Raw Underground segments, and calls out, and the WWE brings them in and pays them well to do this, and calls out the 2 guys that he lost to in the MMA, and beats the out of them in a pro wrestling Raw Underground situation.
Right.
He'd have his wrestling.
I'll tell you
He'd have his wrestling magic back for those who are able to suspend their belief and go, okay, that's cool.
That is brilliant.
It's very creative. And you know what? When you guys do decide to do this down the road, you're welcome.
Well, you
and
know that-
remember
you
to
know they're
call
watching,
1-800
so you don't
Monte
know.
the Pharaoh.
That's right.
And we'll give you some more awesome ideas. I'd love to talk.
I will say this. You and I spoke.
We'd love to
You and I
talk.
spoke about this. We talked about how exciting people would get if CM Punk came
Right.
in.
This is how you'd get him
but
back
I
in,
think
though.
I clearly said to you a few times that he damaged himself
Right.
so poorly
You
by
can repair it.
losing those fights.
Repair it.
There's your repair right there, dude.
Sure. Now, you reward these two guys handsomely, the ones who know that they took him in real life and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
But, in respect to Punk, and I still say this to this day, he didn't walk in there with two jabronis who didn't fight at all. He actually fought experienced fighters.
Sure.
So I have nothing but respect for Punk, despite the 0-2. I felt that he gave it his all, and he didn't take a shortcut. I'd love to see them pull that off. I think that would be great. Why not? We've had Tyson Fury in the ring. We've had, other guys in the ring from other backgrounds. Let's
Wow,
have
Pharaoh, you better get paid for this idea because
Yeah.
it's totally brilliant. So at the end of the show, they bring in the Hurt Business.
it. Right.
We were just talking about Raw Underground.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the Hurt Business?
I really want to like them, but they did something very confusing with the booking.
Go ahead.
Why is Tozawa taking the title off of Shelton Benjamin so fast? I like the fact that there was a belt holder. I know that the 24/7 title don't seem to mean squat.
Right.
But I'm not sure how in a professional wrestling ring they were made to look like clowns on Monday night. They lost and lost and lost, and then they go into the Raw Underground and beat the tar out of everybody. I'm very confused by this.
I think
that was mixed.
I think
Have
they-
them be successful in the ring too before you. I don't know, man. It just seemed mixed signals coming to the fan.
they had
watching
to
that.
put a belt on Shelton because you brought him back in to the
Right.
mix.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. They probably shouldn't have took the belt off him that fast. But then again, maybe they shouldn't have gave it to him to begin with, right?
Yeah,
it's
you
not
don't
a
need
real
it.
serious belt
No.
anyway. It's like a clown belt in a lot of ways.
What are the odds of them pulling going in the Nation of Domination direction with this?
I think this is the new type of Nation of Domination.
Can we please get Apollo Crews with them? Please,
It's coming.
please,
It's coming.
please, because he's starting to get better, and I like his look more. The thicker the beard goes, and I'm like, come on, man, turn him.
I got to give kudos to MVP. Never liked him.
MVP's
in
a
the
great
past.
talker.
Could not stand.
No,
him.
MVP's excellent
Then
on
when
the
he
mic.
went to TNA, I couldn't stand him.
He's a good wrestler.
right? TNA, right? He was at
Yeah.
TNA, yeah.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, you're right. He is good.
Dude, he can talk, man. He is good.
And I think this Raw Underground will help Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
And I think eventually, I love the CM Punk idea. Once again,
It's almost too good.
please send a check to Monte and the Pharaoh.
Yeah,
we could
please.
use it.
Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah. And
And
put in
we'll
a
give
word
you-
for us
we'll-
with YouTube, WWE. Thanks.
We'll give you this idea. We'll give you this idea too. Definitely the
will?
avenue for Lashley to meet Lesnar in Raw Underground. The
could
match
you-
that everybody wanted to see anyway. That you
maybe-
said they were destroying
Could,
Lashley.
could be heading towards that too. Wow, that would be interesting.
Well, they are rebuilding Lashley's career, right? They're getting that
Are they?
dew off him, that garbage
trying
that they've
to
been throwing on him,
trying
right?
to, yeah, the whole Lana thing was ridiculous. That's a whole other story. Where is Lana right now? Doing anything? I
Is
heard
she doing
Rusev is
anything?
retired. What's way?
You think that's for real?
What?
That you bring that up? That
Rusev?
Rusev is retired?
Who knows, man? I have no idea. Rusev marches to his own beat. He always did. I actually used to get a kick out of him. My wife, of course, in the past has watched that Total Divas stuff. And Rusev was sometimes on the show.
Right.
Not so willingly either. And I found him to be he definitely walks to his own beat. One of the funniest things I ever saw, he was trying to point out how Lana's body basically gets her where she gets in this business. And he was on her because of the way she dresses, right?
Right,
Because she's
sure.
always showing a lot of flesh, right? So one day, to make the point clear on this Divas episode, I walk into the room and I see Rusev in a thong mowing the front lawn.
Okay.
To show to his basically it's just his shack, you know what I mean?
Sure.
To show his wife, hey, I can show skin too.
Toxic taste, my friend.
Oh, boy.
WWE star Montez Ford collapses during a match on Monday Night Raw with fears he was poisoned as part of a storyline.
Right.
I thought this wasn't a bad storyline either. I'm going to even go with this one.
You liked Bianca beating on my babe, Zelina Vega?
I loved it.
I hated it. She hurt Zelina Vega. Like, what are you freaking hitting her for?
Bianca Belair's cool, dude.
No, she's not. Zelina Vega's cool.
They're both cool.
I'm
Anyway,
not-
back to the Montez Ford thing.
right.
What did you think of the angle?
Different. They are trying some stuff. It was different.
Did you have a problem with him fainting outside the ring and then letting him wrestle after he fainted?
Am I going to give that moment an Oscar? No.
But let me ask you this question, Tim.
I don't think it's an
I'm
Oscar
sorry.
moment.
All right, I understand people do podcasts on
Oh,
wrestling
here we go
and
again.
sports
What?
and everything else.
Yeah.
Why does but everybody sit there and critique the writing? Like, it's like, that's unrealistic. He fainted on the outside. Why did they let him wrestle on the inside? It's probably a valid point, but again, who knows?
You know, if they all knew Israeli jiu-jitsu, they would probably have a little more composure with that keyboard. Just saying. You know, I mean, you got to be like a, Swami trained, very focused and centered. You got to lay those fingers away from the keyboard. Draw your hands back. Draw your hands back before you make an ass out of you and me. There we go. I can't anymore.
AEW Brandy Rhodes launches a new initiative to make women's wrestling more welcoming to women. I'm going to read this to you, buddy.
You know where I'm going already, but go on. So what did the Ultimate Free Pass have to say?
All elite wrestling. The ultimate.
Always complaining.
The ultimate free pass. I love it.
What?
Is that her
What?
nickname?
Yeah, to me it is.
The free
Ultimate
free pass,
man. Oh, yeah. How's your mic skills doing, Brandy? You getting better?
In this corner, weighing 120 pounds, the ultimate free pass, Brandy Rhodes. All Elite Wrestling is providing a new platform for its female fans. Wrestling has long been a male-dominated industry, from the performers to the crowds in attendance at events. But AEW is making strides in creating a welcoming atmosphere for women's, a fan base that has not had its voice heard nearly enough in wrestling's past or present. This is Brandy, quote, I still don't feel comfortable in wrestling, and I'm the chief brand officer of this major organization, said AEW CBO. First of all, I never heard of a CBO before. This is the first time I've heard of that.
Chief Brand Officer, CBO.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
Wait a minute,
isn't
isn't that the stuff that medicinally, eases joint pain? CBOs?
Fans out there, is there such thing
that's
as a
CBD.
CBO? There's a COO, CFO,
Right.
CEO.
Right. Well, the ultimate.
I never heard of a
The Ultimate Free
CBO.
Pass had a title created. Go on. What's the problem? It's so
Wrestling
obvious.
has a really long way to go with women.
Boy, Cody Rhodes gonna hate my ass.
Wrestling.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Led by Rhodes, the company has officially launched AEW Heels. Heels, like in heels.
High
not-
heels?
Yeah, high heels.
Oh.
A female-focused wrestling group open to anyone who identifies as a female.
Anyone who identifies as a female. Wow, this is really, really open. Go on.
The goal is to create a community where people can share ideas about wrestling, as well as focus on topics like succeeding in the workplace and empowerment.
Oh, wow, this is like so socially succeeding.
So,
Go on.
your thoughts on Brandy's wonderful idea?
Well, I'm kind
The
of.
CBO.
The CBO, I'm kind of stuck on this. Where is this thing? Wrestling has long been a male-dominated industry. Oh, let me stop right there. Let me really spell this out for you, CBO. Wrestling
CBO.
has been a male-dominated thing since going back to the Greeks and the Romans. 2,000 years ago in the freaking Colosseum, two Hulks got together and threw each other all over the place while 50,000 people drooled for more violence. You are a free pass. Get out!
Reba Hardy reacts to Sammy Guevara splitting Matt Hardy wide open on AEW Dynamite. And Reba Hardy, who has a big fat mouth anyway, was not happy about it. So, your thoughts? Because she's just another big
Well,
mouth.
what did she say here?
She called him a...
Wow.
I'm sorry, Reba, but you know what?
Is it
If Matt wants to draw
is it
color...
Rebby or
whatever.
If
Your husband Matt...
Reba!
If your husband Matt wants to draw color in front of no fans because he's that desperate, and he doesn't even know how to blade himself properly. I'm not saying I know how to blade myself, but he's the professional.
Wait a minute. It says here it's unclear who she's calling a in this situation. That's hilarious.
On WWE.com, Hulk Hogan commented on Randy Savage getting upset with him backstage for grabbing Elizabeth's wrist too hard and more. So what do you think?
Really now? Well,
we know that story too, right?
I mean, how surprised can you be? Randy was very protective of her, so I mean, What did she even say anything? Like, ow, my wrist's hurt, or Randy just like, that looks like that hurts, like completely flipped? I don't know what the story
No,
is.
I don't think it was the wrist, man. I think he actually grabbed her. I think he was trying to hold her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Little.
And
too
again,
much
is that
touch.
any surprise to you? I mean, this is like old retread story, right?
Right.
It's clear Randy had problems with people
Right.
getting around Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You know what? In hindsight, he did everything he could to protect her, and apparently it wasn't enough because she was, she had some demons.
Well, you're a big wrestling fan. You're a big Hogan fan. You're a big Savage fan. Do you think
Yeah.
it's disrespectful that Hogan keeps talking about this stuff?
Hogan probably keeps getting asked about this stuff. So we'll answer the question. No, I don't have a problem with it. I'm sure he's
Well,
been asked.
there
He
is
probably
nothing-
gets asked it every other
There
day
is
when he's
nothing
doing.
better than a good Savage question.
Yeah, Randy
We asked a
Savage
lot
is.
of them, right?
Oh, Randy Savage is one of the most polarizing, probably top 5 polarizing wrestlers in the history of this business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, the 120-pound Adam Cole got
Stop with-
mad. Whoop-de-doo.
You really-
Well, the producer probably squatted on him. I mean, come on already.
Boy, oh boy.